Welcome everyone to Caleb Watches Movies, the channel where I, Caleb, randomly select from one of the many movies that I own and I watch and review them for you. And we are here at the end of 2023. Another year has passed on this channel and we've reviewed a lot of movies this year. So around this time I like taking a couple of seconds to rank some of the best and of course some of the worst films that I have watched this year. And I set a goal for myself this year in 2023 that I was going to watch at least 52 new releases. And I have surpassed that. I'm very proud of myself. That is one brand new movie a week. So that way when I do these ranking videos at the end of the year, I have a nice little variety that I can choose from, and hopefully I find 10 films that I would consider to be the worst of the year. Thankfully this year I found them. So that's what we're talking about today, the 10 films that I consider in 2023 to be the worst. A couple of days from now I'm going to be releasing my 10 best films of 2023. But before we get there we have to trudge through the mud and the shit that were these 10 films. Now before we begin this ranking video, I just want to say that I know that no filmmaker, no one who's working on a movie seeks out to make a bad film. These film projects provide multiple jobs for multiple people in different aspects, so there is good things behind these films. I'm making this list though from the perspective of this audience member who spent their hard-earned money wanting to go in and be entertained and be happy by a film, and then left the theater very pissed off. But enough of me talking, let's get into my list of the top 10 worst films that I watched in 2023 that were released this year. Starting off at number 10 is a film that looks as indie can be. This is Sammy Slick, Vampire Slayer. The poster's badass. Love the poster, but it's about this guy named Sammy Slick who is a vampire hunter. And I feel like this film was made either by a first-year film student in college or someone in high school doing a project for a class. The settings, you can tell, are all found spaces, and the writing here is very surface level and is not refined at all. Characters will just randomly talk with each other about things that don't pertain to the story. We'll have an actor who ums a lot during a monologue and thinks they're so cool that they're in this picture. The film is very juvenile when it comes to the quality and how it looks like it was made. It kind of makes me happy though. Like, I kind of like that because it reminds me of making small movies for a class project in high school with my friends, so it gives me a lot of nostalgia. It's just that these people did those aspects on a grander scale with a larger budget, and it's just not good. At number 9 is the sequel to a franchise that everyone was clamoring for, and they were like, yes, please, give us the next entry. This is Expendables. A bunch of action stars from the 80s and early 90s sitting around talking about how their penises don't work anymore. It's a generic action film with a team of mercenaries going to stop another mercenary who has stolen nuclear codes and is going to start World War III. The plot of basically every action film from the 80s and the 90s, just repurposed, accompanied by terrible, god-awful visual effects that don't know how to render things to scale when it comes to the people in front of the green screen. But finally, Jason Statham is the front man to this franchise, as Sylvester Stallone is in here for 5 minutes and then is taken out, and we don't see him until the last 5 minutes of the movie. So I'm sure he gets a beautiful looking paycheck that he can mount on his wall, that he can look at, smoke a cigar, and go, yeah, I made money from that. At number 8 was a film that I had a lot of high hopes for, and I'm sure many audience members actually did, because this film is about two very beautiful looking actors getting together, sharing the screen, supposedly having great romantic chemistry that turns into a spy film, and it just falls apart. This is the movie Ghosted. Chris Evans, Ana de Armas. I think everyone who went in to watch this movie, the audiences were like, yes, please let these two have great romantic chemistry, because they're both two very beautiful people, and if we put two beautiful people together, it will just create this angelic euphoria that all of us can bask in for the rest of our lives. Sadly, these two have absolutely no chemistry with each other at all. They looked good in a couple of shots, but when it comes to the dialogue, the characters, the story, and them interacting with each other, no chemistry at all. It's a generic spy film that goes wrong again with terrible CGI, and a plot that was so basic that I actually have forgotten what the film was about. I just know that it happened, and that I watched it, and that I moved on. At number 7 is a recent film that I watched for this list because I had a feeling it was going to make it. A movie called Fear the Night. A bunch of ladies go out to this farm in the middle of nowhere that is apparently one of their parents' farm that is not really looked after, and they're all there for a bachelorette party to get drunk and look at strippers and yeah, party. And then just a couple of truckers with bows and arrows come in and start killing everyone. It is very predictable. The dialogue, at least the delivery of the dialogue, is very wooden here. Also very pandering because we have a group of men who are infiltrating and trying to take over this group of women. So there were a lot of lines in here that were very sexist that I feel that were just shoehorned in here because of the times and what's popular to talk about in social media right now. But the story here just felt lifeless. It had no impact. These women are here, they are assaulted by these guys looking for money and for drugs in this house that apparently the grandparents here, apparently they're big meth dealers. But it's here, the movie happened, and that it ended. And I feel no sense of changing from myself as an audience member from where it started and where it ended. It was kind of just filler for me. At number 6 is a French film that I stumbled on when I was looking for films just to fill up my list of ones that I've watched for 2023. I thought this one looked interesting. It's a film called Between Us. Two women who are engaged with each other are looking for a roommate, and they offer the room to this creepo dude who is a magician, who has a pet rat, and has really, like, wet and greasy hair and a face that looks like he's a serial killer, and they just invite him in. Hey, you're our new roommate. And one of the women doesn't like him and finds him very, very annoying, but the other woman actually likes him and befriends him, and of course that relationship gets stronger. And you know what happens when relationships get stronger? They become one. So it's a love triangle with these two women trying to reignite their love for each other, but then one of them is having an affair with the roommate and the guy that they invited. It's like, what do you expect is going to happen? Of course this is going to happen. And then she goes with him, and then this woman is distraught, and she wants a child, and then the man is abusive now in their relationship, so everything is just messed up. And then the film ends, and that's art. That's life. That's story. At number 5 for the worst films of 2023 is a generic Hallmark movie that I decided to put myself through because I wanted to differentiate my list and I wanted to give it a shot. Here it is, Aloha Heart. Hello, Heart. How are you doing? This is as formulaic as a Hallmark screenplay could get. So-and-so woman is so obsessed with her job and never stops working, but her best friend is getting married in Hawaii, so of course she has to go, but she doesn't really want to because she's just so focused on work. And while she's in Hawaii, even though the other girls are partying for the bachelorette party and stuff, she's just still thinking about her job. And then so-and-so dude, who is the manager of the hotel in Hawaii, is trying to break out and be the best manager he could possibly be. But he just doesn't know certain aspects about the job. That's where so-and-so woman comes in with her expertise of her job, and she helps him fix the problems with the hotel to where he becomes like the main manager of everything, and they fall in love because their benefits outweigh each other. It's so generic. It's so generic. But you know what? They're all beautiful people, and that's what Hallmark is. Generic plots, just shove in a whole bunch of beautiful people and we'll forgive it because it's just beautiful people on screen just pecking at each other. There's no passionate kissing here. It's just At number 4 is a film that I reviewed for this channel. It's about Jason Statham going around on a jet ski and punching some shacks. This is Meg 2, The Trench. And he punches him so hard in the face that we barely see any sharks in the movie at all. Yeah, the movie totally forgot to make this film about the Meg. It's about these groups of researchers who go down into the depths of the ocean and they basically go up against little raptor sharks. I don't know if the budget was cut in half from the first Meg, which actually I've never seen before, so, you know, don't judge me. I've just went in on Meg 2, The Trench. I dove headfirst into the water, but the entire time they're going up against these small, tiny little raptor sharks. Raptorlodons, or whatever you want to call them. It's a whole bunch of people making dumb decisions underwater And then Jason Statham is there, and he survives and punches people and sharks. And that's what we need to sit back and realize, that Jason Statham can punch anything, and it'll fix everything in the world. So we just need to let Jason Statham loose, and let him punch all of the bad things in the world, and then this world would be fine. Ad number 3 is a, I would assume, direct-to-DVD film called The Collective. Hey, have you ever heard of the Collective Spy Agency? Well, it's there, and it exists, and it sends out agents to kill people. Did you know that? Yeah, me neither, but it's here, and we have some arrogant pricks who are assigned to this division to go around killing people who are bad, and it's a whole bunch of dudes who are overcompensating for something in their life because they all talk a very tough game, but they're not as tough as they actually are. It's actually a lot of talking and not a lot of doing. The main dude in here, this is a line of dialogue directly from the movie, who's talking about all the obstacles that they have to overcome to infiltrate this auction that he's trying to get into so he can kill people. And he's like, well, thank God I'm a master of disguise. What? I'm glad you have the confidence in yourself, sir. And then his disguise is just a Hawaiian t-shirt and a white blazer to make himself look like a drug dealer in Cuba. I don't know. And then Tyrese is here, who is a lot of talk and gets stabbed and apparently is like on the brink of death, but then just randomly shows up for the climax. Like, yeah, I'm fine, and I'm pulling point on the computer, so I'm here to help you. The Collective is so stupid, and they leave it open for a sequel that I never want to see. But speaking of stupid, one of the worst films that came out this year, which is very, very frustrating because it actually did very well at the box office, but I think that's just based on the previous knowledge of this IP and this franchise, a movie called Five Nights at Freddy's. The games are terrifying. I watch people play them all the time, and the jump scares, them looking from side to side, checking the vents, checking the cameras. It's terrifying. And then we get to this film, and there's barely any of that, if any. The animatronics look cool. I'll give it that. The actual live action, you can physically touch it, tangible animatronics look really cool. Everything else here is dog shit. Josh Hutcherson is our security guard. And he's just a terrible actor. I can't get behind anything. He constantly has dreams of Nebraska and the abduction of his little brother, who apparently was abducted by the same person who's the villain in this movie. It's all connected here. Plus, this is rated PG-13, so the major horror aspects of this film are watered down. They're dumbed down to where, oh, someone's about to be ripped in half, but then the camera quickly pans over to the left and we see a shadow, and then we hear all the bones cracking and the actual horror happening off screen, but we don't see anything because it's PG-13. It's a big letdown story-wise, and I don't see how you could be a fan of this franchise and go into this movie and absolutely love this film, because I think this just insults your franchise, sir. But all these films just don't compare to what I consider to be the worst film of 2023, a film that absolutely pissed me off, and I'd probably put it in the conversation of my top 10 worst films that I have ever watched outside of 2023, and that is the Jennifer Lawrence rom-com raunchy comedy, No Hard Feelings. A story about parents who are so overly protective of their son who's about to go off to college and knows that, oh, he doesn't have any friends, and he's a virgin, and he's never drank alcohol or done drugs before. He's not going to last in society. We need to make sure that he gets that stuff in the protection of our own home. How are we going to do that? We're going to hire Jennifer Lawrence as a whore. She's hired to be, like a consultant. That's like the most tame word I can come up with. A consultant for their son to turn him into a man. I don't fucking know. And the film is marketed around Jennifer Lawrence being funny. And I'm still waiting for that to actually happen. She's in these pratfally situations. Oh gosh, she sleeps around with a lot of dudes. Oh my god, it's so freaking funny. Oh, she's so vulgar with the way she talks. She's so funny. The film is not funny. It is not funny at all. And actually, the more you get to know this kid, you realize that, oh, he's not really socially awkward at all. He can play piano. He gets up and sings in the middle of a restaurant. Seems pretty cool. And then girls that are his age from his class come over and talk to him, and he seems super cool with them. I don't know why this 30-year-old woman needs to come in, swoop in, and show him life and sex and stuff. By far, the worst film of 2023. If I can implore you anything from this list, go ahead and watch any of these other ones, just to test the waters for yourself. But do not watch No Hard Feelings. I know it's free on Netflix right now. Don't watch this movie, and don't validate these writers who wrote this damn thing. It's one of the dumbest ideas I have ever heard in a screenplay. And it doesn't need to be condoned. We don't need to condone this. So let's spank them, okay? You know, naughty, bad on you for creating this screenplay. So now go over there in the corner, and we'll never watch this movie again. And that is my list of my top 10 worst films of 2023, films that pissed me off all year. What did you think about my list? What is your ranking of the top 10 worst films that you watched here in 2023? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button, and make sure you hit that bell so you know the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.